Tyler Shug. Like who who in the heck is Tyler Shug? Like, bro, Shedeur Sanders not being taken in the first 3 rounds of the draft, really the first round of the draft, is insane to me. Like, that honestly is insane to me. Like, if you would have asked me, at the beginning of April, if you would have told me Shedeur Sanders wasn't taken in the first 10 picks of the draft this year at the beginning of April, I would have told you were crazy. I would have told you were crazy. Like, this really makes no sense. Like, the Giants pass up on Shedeur, the Browns pass up on Shedeur, the Saints pass up on Shedeur. Like, there's really no excuse these teams have for passing up on Shedeur. Like, looking at the Giants specifically, I mean, taking Jackson Dart over Shedeur is insane to me. Like, that's crazy. Like, Jackson Dart has a little more of an argument than any of the other picks that were taken instead of Shedeur. But even with Jackson Dart, like, there's nothing Jackson Dart does better than Shedeur Sanders. There's nothing he does better. Like, the only thing that Shedeur probably the only thing that probably went against Shedeur in that argument was the sacks that he took this year. He took a significant amount more sacks this year than Jackson Dart. But other than that, Shedeur Sanders does everything better with the football in his hands than Jackson Dart. I mean, second in college in passing touchdowns, fourth in passing yards. Like, Shedeur Sanders has thrown more passing touchdowns and has a higher completion percentage in college than Jackson Dart does right now. Like, the Giants taking Jackson Dart, honestly, as an Eagles fan, I'm thrilled. like this is honestly why Joe Shane is my second favorite GM in the NFL, because of moves like this. Because taking Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders is as an Eagles fan, it brings joy to my heart. It does. But as a football fan, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with the NFL as a whole? Like, it honestly makes no sense to me. Shedeur Sanders did everything he did. He was a better player in college than Jackson Dart, with less protection, less cushion. Like, Jackson Dart honestly just has that SEC privilege. I think that's what is giving him the notch, just because he had the numbers he did in the SEC. But Shedeur Sanders did what he did with no protection. No protection whatsoever. With no O-line, was still a 4,000-yard passer. With no O-line, still threw for 37 touchdowns in college. With no O-line, still has a higher completion percentage than Jackson Dart. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, Shedeur Sanders isn't a freak of nature. He's not a Jalen Milroe. He's not enormously talented, but he is a winner. He does make winning plays when it matters most, and he is a clutch quarterback. Like, there's nothing you can say that gives Jackson Dart a leg up on Shedeur Sanders, making him a better pick for the Giants. Like, I'm not saying the Giants should have even drafted a QB to begin with. Y'all know I said Russell Wilson, since they have Jameis Winston, I didn't think they needed to focus on a quarterback in this draft as opposed to other areas that they need, getting, especially pieces on the defense like an Abdul Carter. But if you're going to go quarterback, I thought for sure they were trying to get Shedeur. I mean, they trade up to the 25th spot in the first round. I thought for sure it was for Shedeur. If you're going to go, if you're going to go a quarterback, go with the best guy available. Like, I don't understand what Brian Dabble sees in Jackson Dart that he doesn't see in Shedeur Sanders. I just don't. Like, to be honest with you, bro, I honestly feel like the teams in the NFL care more about proving some sort of point than winning games. Like, that's honestly what it seems like. Like, they care more about proving that Shedeur Sanders doesn't really have what it takes to be an NFL quarterback doesn't have the skill and the abilities to back up the talk that he had leading up to this point. They care more about proving they were right as opposed to getting a guy who can actually win games. Honestly, I honestly feel like this is a race thing, to be honest with you. It really does feel like a race thing because nothing else makes sense. Like if Shedeur Sanders wasn't black and didn't have the last name Sanders, he definitely would have been taken by now. He definitely would have been taken by now because all of a sudden, like his confidence and his persona is an issue, but nobody said anything when Baker Mayfield was this cocky in the draft process. Nobody thought Baker Mayfield's confidence and his personality, nobody thought anything was wrong with that in this process. He acted the exact same way. The exact same way, but was still drafted number 1 overall to the Browns. Like, nobody was upset at him because he was cocky, didn't work out at the combine. Nobody said anything about Baker Mayfield being a negative presence in the locker room, a negative presence for a team when he was acting this way. But now that Shedeur Sanders is doing it, when he is also one of the best quarterbacks in this class, equally as skilled and talented as Cam Ward, the guy who went number 1 overall. Like, nobody said anything now that he's confident. So, like, it's okay. I mean, it's okay for Baker Mayfield to be confident. It's okay for him to have that sort of that swag about him, like that like I'm him mentality. But it's not okay for Shedeur Sanders to feel the same way. Like, let me know what the difference is, because the difference to me seems clear. One guy is black and has a notable last name. The other didn't. In comparison, like, and Baker Mayfield, I mean, I got all the respect in the world for Baker Mayfield. He definitely obviously deserved to be drafted number 1 overall. He deserved to be an NFL quarterback. He's clearly one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC right now. I mean, guy who has been through a lot as well. I mean, really one of the most inspiring stories in college in his journey. But don't punish one guy for being confident and having the utmost belief in himself when you will praise another guy for acting the exact same way. That doesn't make that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's really a double standard that we are seeing in the NFL. The league just simply doesn't like him. Like, that's really what it seems like. The league just doesn't like him and wants to teach him a lesson and prove a point. Like, these teams, there is no way these NFL teams believe that Jackson Dart, Dillon Gabriel, Tyler Shug, there's no way these teams believe that these quarterbacks are better players than Shedeur Sanders. There's just no way. There's nothing that, like, Jackson Dart. Okay, Jackson Dart at least has somewhat of an argument, kind of being on par with Shedeur statistically, fine. I guess he was seen as a good fit for the Giants, fine. But Dillon Gabriel doesn't have the stats to match up with Shedeur. Like, Dillon Gabriel was a Heisman candidate, but his stats weren't up there with Shedeur. He didn't have as many passing touchdowns as Shedeur. He wasn't as productive as Shedeur. Like, there's nothing Dillon Gabriel does better than Shedeur. Like, Dillon Gabriel, he's a bit faster, a little more mobile, but he can hardly see over the O-line. Dillon Gabriel is the same size as Kyler Murray, but without the athleticism. He is the same size as Kyler Murray, but isn't nearly as fast, doesn't have nearly, like, the game speed does not match up. Like, there's no way. Again, happy for Dillon Gabriel. I like Dillon. He seems like he's a real nice dude, great athlete, competitor, but there is no way the Browns believe that Dillon Gabriel is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. There's no way. Like, the Browns, like, The Giants, they're cool in the quarterback decision, at least for the next 2 years. The Browns and the Saints have no excuse. The Browns literally don't have a QB1 right now. Their QB position battle before Dylan Gabriel was Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, and Kenny Pickett. Kenny Two Gloves Pickett. They don't have a QB1 right now. I mean, and then the Saints, who do they got? Derek Carr, who has a shoulder issue? Like, bro, it really doesn't make sense. Like, these are the two teams that really needed a QB the most, other than the Titans. Like, Dylan Gabriel, I can at least understand Dylan Gabriel, like, at least being a Heisman finalist. You know, he was one of the more productive quarterbacks, obviously, in college this year. I still don't think that was a better choice than Shedeur, but somewhat of a reasoning. Somewhat of a reasoning. He's got some standing in terms of the QBs in this class. Who in the heck is Tyler Shug? Shug, whatever his name is. Who is that? Who is that? Bro, there's no way the Saints trade up in the draft. They trade up in the draft in the second round to get Tyler Shug. Tyler Shug is older than I am. Tyler Shug he's the same age as Bo Nix. He has been in college for 6 years. The Saints would rather pick a quarterback who is 25 years old, who has had 3 season-ending injuries in college, who has been in college for 6 years, who had a terrible draft combine workout. They would rather pick that quarterback than picking a winner in Shedeur Sanders because of his attitude. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, honestly, I'm probably more disappointed in the Saints than I am any other team that passed up on Shedeur Sanders. If you look at this Saints team, the Saints were one quarterback away from being a playoff team. I mean, they got off to a real hot start at the beginning of this past season. I mean, that, especially looking at that offense, really one of the most explosive offensive skill groups in the NFL. Arguably the fastest skill group in the NFL. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Alvin Kamara coming out the backfield. Then you add Brandon Cooks to the mix. Like, this is one of the most explosive offensive groups in the NFL. All they need is someone to get the ball around. All they need is someone to spread the ball around, spread the love around. One quarterback away from being really fighting for a playoff spot. And they picked Tyler Shug. They need a quarterback to take over the reins from Derek Carr, who struggled with injuries last year. And then this year has something new that popped up in his throwing shoulder. They clearly need a quarterback that is ready to take over the reins of this offense. Possibly a quarterback that could be ready to start game 1 of the season. And they draft Tyler Shug. I mean, I don't know if it's, just they have a lot of faith in Spencer Rattler. Like, I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's they're optimistic in Derek Carr's health status going into the season, but there is no way. They looked at both of these guys on paper. They looked at both of these guys' tape and said that Tyler Shug will be a better quarterback in the NFL than Shedeur Sanders. There is no way. There is no way, because that means whoever is making these decisions in the Saints front office just doesn't know ball. Just doesn't know ball. Like, he does not need to be in that position if he sincerely believes that Tyler Shug will be a better quarterback, has the better intangibles and capabilities as a quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. There's just no way. There is no way. A Saints team that is really, I mean, they're knocking on the door right now for the playoffs. I went through the offensive group: Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks coming in. a decent O-line. On the defensive side of the ball, they got some playmakers. Cameron Jordan, Brian Brsay, who had a good year last year. They just picked up Justin Reed from the Chiefs. Tyrann Mathieu, who's coming up on a contract year. Kool-Aid, who had a really defensive rookie of the year caliber year last year. Like, Demario Davis, like, this is a team that is ready to go on a run, a team that is really ready to win now. And they pick up Tyler Shugg. It just doesn't make sense. Like, the Saints really could have had one of the best draft hauls of the year this year. They really could have. They really could have. I mean, in the first round, you choose to get a guard. I would understand that if they had someone to protect. Like, you use your first round pick on an offensive lineman when there's so many skill players you could get. Like, who are you getting an O lineman to protect? You don't have anyone back there that's worth protecting right now. Like, the Saints really legit. The Saints could have come out of this draft right now with Shedeur Sanders and Donovan Ezeraku. Donovan Ezeraku during their second round pick was, in my opinion, the best available defensive player according to their scheme fit in terms of what they needed, what they still need. Donovan Ezeraku was the best available player at the time. They could have gotten their franchise quarterback in Shedeur Sanders to take over the offense. But then they also could have gotten in my opinion, a guy who could come in to the NFL really being a defensive rookie of the year candidate in Donovan Ezeraku, a perfect scheme fit for their defense, adding another pass rusher to this D line, adding to their pressure up front and really making their defense better. Like, the Saints could have come out of this draft making their offense and their defense 10 times better. Well, offense 10 times better, defense better. They could have improved their team on both sides of the ball in these first two rounds. They did no such thing. Like, they didn't even, I'm not even saying even if you don't go a quarterback in round one, okay, cool. You have your guard, you have your reinforcement for the O-line. They had a clear shot at Shedeur in the second round. Even if you don't get Donovan Ezeraku, Shedeur Sanders, obviously the quarterback in this case, is the more important pick for the Saints. They had a clear shot at Shedeur Sanders. They literally looked over Shedeur to get to Tyler Shugg. Because on every draft prospect list, it's ranked in order of caliber. It's ranked in order from who's the best available at this position. That means they scrolled past Shedeur Sanders' name. They scrolled past Dillon Gabriel's name. They scrolled past Jalen Milroe's name to get to Tyler Shugg. Like, bro, they didn't even have to go even if you don't have to go quarterback. Like, you didn't have to do quarterback. That's the crazy thing. They could have picked Donovan Ezeraku or some other defensive player, some other skill player. They didn't have to pick a quarterback. They purposefully picked one of the worst quarterbacks in this draft class. They literally went out of their way to pick one of the worst quarterbacks in this draft class as opposed to getting Shedeur. That is, bro, if that is not the most intentional, like, that's got to be one of the most, messages don't get more intentional than that. They were trying to send a message with that pick. They literally could have gotten any other player with that pick that was available. There were a lot of guys that were available before Tyler Shugg got taken. Hold up. Let's check this real quick. Looking at the draft, I mean, there were so many. I mean, bro, this is honestly killing me. Like, okay, Tyler Shugg. Bro, they could have picked up Mason Taylor, decent tight end to add to their arsenal of offensive weapons. They could have picked up another corner in Will Johnson, the best the best DB arguably in this draft class. They could have picked up Will Johnson to replace Marshawn Lattimore after losing him to the Commanders last year. They would have had giving the Saints arguably the best corner duo in the league with Kool-Aid McKinstry and Will Johnson. One of the best corner duos in the league in Kool-Aid and Will Johnson. They could have, there's a number of guys they could have picked up. Like, they could have picked up Mike Green. Bro, oh my God. Oh, they could have picked up Mike Green. They could have picked up Will Johnson. They could have picked up Donovan Ezaraku. Anything would have been better than Tyler Shough. Like, bro, if I was a Saints fan, I would be extremely heated right now. I'm not even a Saints fan, and I'm mad right now. I'm mad for y'all. I'm mad for the Saints organization, for the Saints fan base. Bro, Donovan Ezaraku, Will Johnson, Mike Green, those are premier defenders in this class. Those are premier prospects in this class, all at the top of their position. All elite guys, as far as I'm concerned, in this class, especially when you look at Mike Green and Will Johnson. Those guys were ranked top 5 in their respective positions. Will Johnson being at the top of his list. Like, the Saints did not have to go quarterback. They literally could have just picked any other position, making them a better team. No. That is intentional. That is sending an intentional message. They intentionally picked a quarterback just to say they got a quarterback, but picked a significantly worse quarterback just to show, hey, we just wanted to let you know in the second round, we think this 25-year-old, this injury-prone 25-year-old who has been in college for 6 years, has played in 3 different programs, is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. We think this guy is a better quarterback than you. The guy who was second in passing touchdowns in college this year. The guy who was top 5 in passing yards this year. The guy who had one of the best completion percentages in college football this year. The Saints sent an intentional message. But honestly, it goes to show that the NFL picks and chooses who they like and who they dislike. That's what they're showing. That's what they're showing you. They pick and choose who they like and who they dislike. Should they think Shedeur Sanders came in there a little too confident, just because he's not the same caliber of athlete that his dad was coming out of college? It rubbed them the wrong way. Like, this dude has every right to have the confidence he does. Every program he has been a part of, he has turned into a winning team. Jackson State. Nobody was worried about Jackson State University football before Shedeur started playing there. Before the Sanders family took over Jackson State University and started winning games, nobody cared about Jackson State football. But Shedeur Sanders lights it up as their QB. Nobody, like, Colorado was not a winning football team before Shedeur Sanders got there. Shedeur Sanders gets there, they're fighting for a playoff spot. Their views are going up, nationally televised games. Like every team Shedeur Sanders goes to, he makes them a better team. He makes them a winning team. That pattern would not have stopped in the NFL. Like, that is what NFL scouts look for in all of these quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders has the type of confidence and the belief in himself that you would want in your quarterback. Like, that's crazy to me, bro. I don't understand how a guy who was projected to go top 10 at least gets bounced to what could be the 5th or 6th round, what it looks like at this point. I mean, I'm scared to even say it, but could possibly go undrafted. That makes no sense. How does the guy go from being top 10 projected to now may not even be drafted at all? That there's no way Shedeur Sanders is being assessed based on skill and production. There's just no way. There's no way. This is personal. The league has made this a personal matter. They are choosing to prove a point about who Shedeur Sanders is as a person and as a player, as opposed to seeing him for the winner that he is, seeing him for his stats, as opposed to what he says on camera. They didn't do that with Baker. They didn't do that with Baker. It just, it's crazy to me, bro. It's like, I honestly, it would be a real travesty if the league allows Shedeur Sanders to go undrafted. I mean, it's already a travesty that he's even at this point, that he's really, I mean, that we're even in the fourth round. We're approaching the fourth and fifth round of the draft and haven't heard Shedeur Sanders' name called yet. It's already a travesty. But to allow him to go to the sixth round, to the seventh round, let alone undrafted, I mean, bro, this is just a clear example of just bias and favoritism. Like, this is really crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. I mean, that's ridiculous to me, bro. I can't.